Hello friends, my name is Pat Malone, and I'm here to share my basketball data project. This is a bad example of a statistical question. It says, how many shots did Pat Malone make in 1 minute? Here is my actual statistical question. How many shots can Pat Malone make in a minute? This is way better because I don't just have to do this one time. I could do this several times and collect data on it so that we can really see how many shots I can make in a minute. Whew, I am tired, but here's all the data that I collected. So in the first minute, do you see that 20? That's when I made 20 shots in that first minute. And then the next number is 5. That means I made 5 shots in another minute. And then 2 shots in the third minute, and so on. And I did this 10 times. Now it's time to analyze my data to figure out what we can learn from it. Did you know that there are several ways to measure the middle of data? For example, I found the mean of my data. Now, mean is just a fancy word that means average. And on average, I make 6 and 8/10 shots in a minute. That means 6 and 8/10 is in the middle of my data. The second way to measure the middle of my data is to find something called the median. This is where we order the data from least to greatest, from 2 all the way to 20, and to find out where the middle is. And so the median, or the middle here, is 5.5 or 5 and 5/10 shots in a minute. I also learned that the range of my data is 18 shots. One of the cool ways to show data is to use graphs. For example, this is the dot plot of my data. Another way to display my data is to use something called a histogram. Notice that by looking at my histogram is right skewed or positively skewed. The last way I decided to display my data was to use something called a Boxplot, where you can see the smallest amount of shots I made in a minute, which was 2 on the left side, and on the right side, you can see when I made 20 shots in a minute. And you can also see my median, which was 5.5 shots in a minute.
And you can see my quartile 1, which is 2 and 7/500, and my quartile 3, which is 8 and 5/10.
This is Pat Malone saying thank you so much for watching my video of my basketball data project.